First nigga outside before sunrise. Old school ways, but I'm still a young guy. A real trooper, I be grinding on the front line. Hungry for the money, I'ma eat like it's lunchtime. Really out here, nigga, let's go band for band. Made a lot of transactions, I'm talking hand to hand. Based on the statistics, I never had a chance. Till I sketched a blueprint and I mapped the plan. First case crash, took me in for crack rock. 54th and Duwarty, that was the crack block. Stood solid, never folded like a laptop. Trying to get to school, getting banged on at the dash stop. Can you give me a pistol is what I asked Pops. Late nights walking through the ops on Ascot. Really repping for the team like a mascot. Doing stupid shit, I could've really got my ass shot. Second charge that I caught was a gun case. Got bail money, I ain't got a fundraise. Still remember being broke with a fun day. Overgrind cause debts can't go unpaid. So I'm serving like way to serve lunch trade. The 2 doors a Challenger, not a Mustang. Chop her down like a barber, it was one phase. Cameras everywhere, we gon' flush it if they come raid, nigga.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Young Woo back with another On The Block reaction here on The Block News. Y'all already know how it go, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Not later, but right now. Also, man, go ahead and hit that hype button. Let's push this shit to the algorithm. Listen, man, in light of what's happened to the young lady from Grape Street, you know, or the Jordan community, you know what I'm saying? She a female, so I don't really know her position, her role up in the neighborhood, but her, you know, allegedly her boyfriend, you know, he killed her or something. You know, I don't know the full story, the full details haven't been put out, but it was all over some domestic violence type shit. So I guess since that's what's been going on, you know, you know, domestic violence shit has been popping up in my algorithm. And, you know, this video right here, it caught my attention. I haven't watched it yet though. You know, so it says a woman was shot 7 times and killed by police 48 hours after her boyfriend's death. You know what I'm saying? Because I was having a talk with somebody yesterday. I was asking them, I'm like, hey, so how do you think shit like that happened? She said, because the nigga emotional, acting like a hoe. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why do you think it's more stories than with men killing women than women killing men? And the person I was speaking with, they said that because the dude be more emotional than the woman. I said, but the dude acting like a woman though. So, you know, the way I analyze it as, you know, the difference between the woman and the man who's acting like a woman, right, is that the man a lot of times in a situation has a weapon. You know, the woman don't always have a weapon. But in that situation, it's really 2 women getting into it. One of them just happen to has a gun, and they react emotionally. If the woman had the gun, she might react emotionally. I totally disagree with domestic violence. I definitely disagree with a man killing a woman. You feel what I'm saying? I'm totally against women and children being killed by grown men. But listen, man, like I said, this title is called Woman Shot 7 Times and Killed by Police 48 Hours After Her Boyfriend's Death. And this one is by Drillers 247. I'm not subscribed to him yet. I subscribed to him yet, but depending on, you know, this video, you know, the content, I might subscribe. Let's see what he talking about, man. Let's get it.
2-4, shot fired. 2-4, shot fired. Yep, right here. Yep. Stop the gun! Get down, get down! Get down! 2-11-4, shot fired. 2-11-4, shot fired. You got eyes? Yep, right here.
Well, Janine, we're at the Belt Atlantic Apartments in the 4000 block of Midlothian Turnpike. Hard to see here, but police are still on scene, and they say they will be on scene throughout the night collecting evidence and doing interviews. What I can tell you is that the family of the woman that is dead is a mother, tells me that she is a mother of two. Police say their officer fired rounds on her as she fired rounds as they approached the apartment building on the 3rd floor. Family members say the woman had been going through a tough time. The father of her youngest child had died recently in a tragic accident, and just prior to the shooting incident, a social media post was made alluding that she was in a grief-stricken crisis mode. The call came in tonight around 6:47. Officers were hearing shots being fired as they arrived here at the Belt Atlantic Apartments. Police say they did recover a weapon on scene near the woman, and their officer is, as standard protocol, is placed on administrative leave pending a criminal and internal investigation. Chief Rick Edwards spoke to us, as well as Dr. Gwen Andrews from the Police Chaplain Corps.
Later, as officers are marking on scene, they start hearing additional gunshots and seeing individuals advising them that a person is upstairs and directing them to that person. When the officers are climbing the stairwell, they hear more gunshots. One of our police officers confronted an individual, an adult female, discharged his firearm. That individual was shot and subsequently pronounced deceased on scene.
Police?
They totally disregarding the fact that police officer looked like he bust at the first person that came down that looked like an innocent bystander. You feel me? Because the police a gang too. We ain't gonna only speak on shit that happened with this blood and cripping shit. You feel what I'm saying? You know, I was assuming that this was some domestic violence shit. I don't know what occurred, you know, but I see that woman was strapped up busting at the police. It seemed like she was busting at the motherfucker going down the stairs from her angle, because it seemed like she was busting at that person. Then it seemed like the police popped at the motherfucker too. But by some chance, it don't seem like the person that was on the stairs next to the police officer while that woman was busting, it don't seem like she got hit. From the police body cam, it don't seem like she got hit. But from the angle of the girl shooting, the other angle, it looked like she hit somebody. You know, I could be tripping, I could be wrong. But listen, man, like I said, I'm going to be doing different reactions just to see, you know, because life ain't just all about gangbanging. There's other shit going on in this world. But, man, we finna get this shit back going, man. Let's get it.
Do what they do. We are here to support spiritually as well as clinically. Okay, you've seen me. I've been pulling persons. We've been talking. We've been de-escalating. And I think all of those skills are necessary. But also there's a trust factor. Okay, and so again, you see me pull different individuals, as has my colleague, Chaplain Cruz, and that's important.
And there was a pretty large scene of family and friends gathered here on scene tonight. I am told by sources that this woman's children, they were not in the apartment when all this went down. So that is the good news, if there is any good news in this situation. But police continue to investigate this incident. Again, a woman dead after a police-involved shooting here on the city's south side. A lot of questions to be answered. The officer is on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of a criminal and a personnel, an internal investigation. So a lot of work to do here for major crimes detectives this evening.
There are some stories that don't begin with violence. They begin with grief. The kind of grief that changes the air in a room. The kind that makes people stop answering phone calls, stop sleeping, stop acting like themselves. And in Richmond, Virginia, one tragic death would spiral into another in less than 48 hours. A young mother, 2 children, a disturbing message online, gunshots echoing through an apartment complex, and a confrontation with police that ended in seconds, but left an entire community asking the same haunting question. Could this have been prevented? Because before the body cam footage, before the headlines, before social media exploded with arguments over what happened that night, there was a woman named Jasmine Wooten Mitchell. And according to people who loved her, she was breaking apart long before officers ever arrived. Tonight, we're diving into the final hours leading up to the deadly confrontation that stunned Richmond, and the mysterious chain of events that pushed a grieving mother toward a moment no one saw coming. To understand what happened on May 7th, 2026, you have to go back one day earlier, May 6th. That's when 35-year-old Larry Donnell Johnson lost his life in a devastating crash.
I'm gonna pause it right here, man. A lot of people change after grief, losing, that one special person that they feel like they coexisted with or codepended upon, that probably took care of the house. The motherfucker you lay with every night, that will affect the motherfucker, have them going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially being a woman, women are already emotional, ain't no telling what they was going through when the dude was here. It's a lot of things she probably feel guilty about. The kids probably stressing her out. They missing their daddy. You feel me? They don't say they got kids yet, but I'm just saying it could be a situation like that. You feel me? Like, her boyfriend could be her baby daddy. Like, they just didn't, emphasize it being her baby daddy. But a motherfucker you lay with every night, motherfucker that holds you, motherfucker that protect you, feel me? Motherfucker, that brighten your day, motherfucker that's a part of your day every day, losing them, that shit can fuck you up. Like, you're heartbroken, you depressed, like, you missing them, you wish you could talk to them, but, you can only talk to them in spirit now. That shit'll make a motherfucker, that shit'll drive a motherfucker insane. I'm not trying to justify her actions with shooting at that, that bystander and the police officer as they're coming up the stair. I'm just trying to bring some understanding, and express that, I can understand, just losing a motherfucking period, like losing homies, but in this case it was her boyfriend. But I can only imagine losing a motherfucker I see every day, losing a family member. I don't know what happened with the boyfriend though, but we about to find out, man. My mama, listen, we finna get this shit back going, man. Let's get it.
Crash on Warwick Road in South Richmond. Police say Johnson was found unresponsive inside a vehicle that had slammed into a tree. But what made the situation even more disturbing was what allegedly happened first. The driver of the vehicle, identified as William Sumner Jr., reportedly fled the scene, leaving behind wreckage, questions, and a dead father inside the car. Authorities later tracked the suspect down at a nearby motel, but by then, the damage had already been done. Friends say Larry Johnson wasn't just another man in a police report. He was known throughout Richmond RVA Bike Life community. A father, an entrepreneur, someone people recognized, someone people loved. And according to Jasmine's family, his death shattered her emotionally because Larry Johnson was more than someone she knew. He was the father of her 7-month-old son. And those closest to Jasmine would later say the grief hit her like a tidal wave, fast, violent, and impossible to control. As the city mourned Larry Johnson, something darker was quietly unfolding behind closed doors. Family members later revealed that Jasmine had become emotionally unstable after learning of his death. People close to her say she was spiraling, and then a message appeared online, short, cryptic, but deeply alarming. Quote, "I love y'all, I'm checking out," unquote. Those 6 words would send panic through friends and relatives almost immediately. Some believed she was suicidal. Others feared she was having a psychological breakdown. But no one could have predicted how quickly things were about to escalate.
Hey, when people write these messages, man, these messages, y'all see these red flags or these signs that they going through something emotionally, try to understand, try to give them enough space, but try to watch them and look out for them too. You know, because when a motherfucker loses their significant other, like I said, I can only imagine. You know, I guess you could compare it to a heartbreak. You feel me? A motherfucker. I guess the next thing worse to losing your significant other is finding out that they're cheating. You feel me? But I think it'd probably be worse if you find out they're cheating with the same sex. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, but finding out a motherfucker cheating on you, you know, probably a thing that's relative to, you know, losing a motherfucker that you love, losing, you know. But I'm sure it's worse, you know. So, you know, a lot of people, that's like they better have, right? The one that when she is getting emotionally unstable, he's able to, you know, talk her back into her senses type shit. You know, a motherfucker that rub her when she feeling down. That tell her how much he love her, you feel me? A motherfucker that just make her feel good. A motherfucker that give her something to live for. You know, a motherfucker that's an excellent father around the house. A motherfucker that's taking care of the home. You know, motherfucker, I mean, they could be going half. I don't know their situation. But a motherfucker that, you know, that sometimes the motherfucker you in a relationship with, nigga, sometimes that be your only motherfucking friend. Like, the only motherfucker you can really trust. The only motherfucker you can tell your deepest, darkest secrets. The only motherfucker that really got your back. The only motherfucker you know gonna ride for you. And then you lose that. Like she checking out, but, you know, she didn't check out just like suicidally. She tried to go out with a bang. She went out with a bang. She did some Scarface going out with a bang type shit. Like, yeah, she tired of being a man. She tired of living this life without her man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm sure that a kid without their father can relate to that. You know, it probably take them a longer time to understand that. You know, but I don't know what this girl was going through. I don't know what her upbringing was like. You know what I'm saying? All I'm just trying to do is understand. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, man, this ain't no domestic violence, but this a domestic situation where a motherfucker lost somebody that they loved in that domestic situation. You feel me? We're finna get this shit back going though, man. Let's get it.
Escalate. Less than 2 days after Larry Johnson's death, 911 calls suddenly began flooding in from Belt Atlantic Apartments in South Richmond. Witnesses reported hearing gunfire, chaos, screaming, and someone inside the apartment complex, Jasmine Wooten Mitchell, was holding a handgun. By the time police rushed toward the scene, the situation had already crossed into something terrifying. It was approximately 6:47 p.m. when Richmond police were dispatched to the apartments. According to investigators, officers arrived within 4 minutes, and almost immediately they heard gunshots. Not rumors, not confusion. Actual gunfire echoing through the complex. Later released surveillance footage and body cam video would reportedly show Jasmine firing into an apartment door and toward an open stairwell. Police say residents were nearby. Officers themselves were also in the line of fire as they approached, and in those moments, everything became unpredictable. Witnesses described fear spreading through the building, people ducking in fear, trying to understand where the shots were coming from, trying to understand why this was happening at all. Somewhere in the middle of that chaos, a grieving mother stood armed and emotionally shattered, and officers were seconds away from making a decision that could change multiple lives forever.
Back shortly. Thank you, Megan. Tonight, Richmond police releasing new video that shows the moments before an officer opened fire and killed a woman.
It happened.
So the only thing, you know, I'm not saying the officer wrong because she was popping at him, but she stopped shooting. You know, then to shoot her 7 times, like sit there, like, you know, make sure you kill her. I think that was a little bit drastic, you know. I think he took it a little too far. He could have shot her 2-3 times just to put her down. Motherfucker, like, that's a woman at the end of the day, you know, a woman that's grieving. I know you as the officer, you not knowing or caring about the fact she just lost the man she loved. You know, you probably got your wife and kids to make it home to. You know, You ain't grow up like her. You don't live in a neighborhood like her. So I know you don't understand or even care, or does it matter to you. But you could have shot her, you know, half the amount of times you shot her, or shot her once, shot her twice. I think that would have did the job. I think she would still be here. I think she would beat the case. I think they'd send her home. I think they'd check out her mental, if anything. You know, so you took a life as an officer of the Richmond Police Department gang. You know what I'm saying? You took out a woman, a mother, you know, that was, you know, I'm not sure if they was engaged, about to get married, but sort of like, a person who is a widow at this point. You know, you kill her and took her away from her kids. Feel me? But listen, man, we're finna get this shit back going. Let's get.
2 weeks ago at the Belt Atlantic Apartments. In addition to the body cam video, security footage was also released showing 31-year-old Jasmine Wooten Mitchell was shooting too.
Richmond reporter Madison McNamee joining us live where this all unfolded there along Midlothian Turnpike. Maddie?
Kurt, Jasmine, it seems like the shooting all took place in one of these open stairwells, just like the one you see behind me right now. That is part of the reason why our legal analyst believes those officers were justified. And all of those moments are captured on video here. And we do want to warn you, some of this might be disturbing.
Chilling video released by Richmond Police Thursday shows the final moments before an officer opens fire and killed 31-year-old Jasmine Wooten Mitchell.
It sounds like the 4th of July around here.
Belt Atlantic neighbors heard the May 7th incident, but had no idea what happens leading up to it. Body camera and surveillance footage now giving them a better picture of what police confronted.
As she's shooting, she's not shooting at them. It's going to appear that she's shooting at them, but she's not. She's shooting at her door.
911 calls came in just after 6:45.
Now, she said she appears to be shooting at them, but she really shooting at her door. They fooled the hell out of me. Listen, I see a motherfucker with a gun up, and they shooting. It look like it's towards me. I'm gonna get the knocking too. I ain't even gonna lie. I just ain't gonna do it like the police officer did it, and just try to kill him like that. But I'm gonna get busted and try to get on. You know what I'm saying? If it look like that, I'm gonna probably do the 1, 2, 3, get on like that motherfucker that grabbed that stairwell pole and slid down them steps and ran to the next stairwell. Listen, she dodged some shots from that gun because it looked like that officer, it appeared he was aiming to take her motherfucking head off. The motherfucker that wasn't even shooting, it seemed like he got off 2 shots above her head or whoever that person was, whatever gender they was. They dodged some bullets right there, it appeared. You feel what I'm saying? But we finna get this shit back going, man. Let's get it.
Alerting RPD of a woman with a gun.
This lady's out here shooting. I got kids in this house. She's shooting.
Video shows 2 officers approaching the complex.
Hey, what's going on? Hello? That's the police. Police department.
So whoever is shooting knows that the police are there and that they are approaching. Nevertheless, a shot is fired.
This angle shows that moment from the officer's perspectives. You see a bystander go down, but we know no one was injured. An officer then draws his gun.
He is an open target to whatever threat is at the top of that stairwell. He has no time for de-escalation. He has no time to try to use non-lethal force. He has no time to take cover. He is already exposed.
Another angle from the apartment's cameras shows that same moment, but more of what's happening at the top of the stairs. Jasmine.
I disagree with the already exposed, and that gun, it definitely looked like she aiming at the officer, but it do seem like she could be shooting at her door too, you know, but the officer did let it be known that he was in the building. And, you know, it looked like that type of building echo. You could probably hear everything going on outside your door up in that motherfucker. I'm not sure what kind of neighborhood this was, but it seemed like old girl had some chunky and it had a stick on it. It looked like some type of extended clip on that motherfucker. Like, it seemed like she was aiming to kill some shit. But the officer, he could have there's many different ways he could have handled this situation. He could have went back down the stairs like, hey, what's going on? Drop your fucking weapon. You know, he got some type of understanding with it. She could have probably dropped the weapon, or she probably would have ran. Ain't no telling. He didn't have to stand there and shoot that many times. You know what I'm saying? Empty the clip on it would it appeared happen. Kids, stay out the way. Let us see another day. But like I said, it's all an illusion full of confusion. Like I said, she could have been shooting at her door, but it appeared that she was shooting towards the officer, and it appeared that she might have heard the officer say, you know, that the police was in the building. But we finna get this shit back going, man. Let's get it.
Wooten Mitchell appearing to fire at the door, feet away from the officer. Police ask her to drop her gun. Drop the gun! And then shoot back.
The officer did not know what was going on, but he knew that as he cleared that stairwell, that he was being fired at, or someone was.
People who knew and loved Jasmine say she was going through a mental health struggle after losing the father of her children that same week.
The police called. They was like zooming, zoom, 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 zoom. And when I went around there, she was on the steps. And it was terrifying, the way they just had her like that.
Despite the number of shots fired and people nearby, nobody else was hurt.
And police could not comment on this video today. They say the investigation is still ongoing. The Commonwealth's attorney is also going to be reviewing all of this. And also, the officer you saw firing his gun, he is on administrative leave right now.
Police say an officer ordered Jasmine to drop the weapon. What happened next unfolded incredibly fast. According to authorities, the officer opened fire. Jasmine Wooten Mitchell collapsed at the scene. Despite officers attempting first aid afterward, she was pronounced dead. Just like that, 2 children lost both parents within days, an 11-year-old daughter and a 7-month-old baby boy. And almost immediately, the case ignited emotional debate online. Some people argue officers had no choice. Others questioned whether a woman clearly experiencing a mental health crisis could have been handled differently. Because beneath all the arguments, there was another disturbing layer to the story. Jasmine's children were not inside the apartment during the shooting. No one else was physically injured, but emotionally, the damage spread far beyond that apartment complex. Friends described her as broken by grief, a woman overwhelmed by trauma, and now 2 funerals were being discussed in the same week.
For her to have to leave this earth the way she left this earth, yeah, I'm angry.
So, yeah, it was many ways the officer could have handled that differently, but at the same time, with her having kids, even shooting at the door, how do anybody know that the kids ain't in there? You know, a motherfucking neighbor could have probably shot her down thinking that she's shooting in the apartment with her kid. And you know, with she grieving and shit, going through shit, you know, she probably didn't hear the police and what they said, you know, but I know for a fact that if that lady was a Caucasian lady holding a gun doing that shit, man, all means to de-escalate the situation would have occurred. You know, as a black woman, y'all gotta be careful out here as black women because, yeah, y'all get treated a little better than black men because, you know, the fetishes that other races have with y'all, you know, especially if you're a beautiful woman, yeah, they're gonna treat you better. But at the same time, the same way they treat you better than a black male, they'll be much quicker to kill you than they'll kill any other race of women. They'll be quicker to disrespect you than they do any other race of women. So you gotta be careful. Listen, any other race of men will rape a black woman before they do a white woman that way. I'm just saying, like, you know, it seems like the black men, we get the end of the stick, and then the black women, y'all right above us on the totem pole for treatment. You know, only difference with the black males and the black women, you know, they feel like y'all less threatening, and, you know, they lust over y'all too. I'm just telling y'all the truth. You know, black men, they look at us like a threat and shit like that, so they gonna shoot a black man on sight if he don't got a gun. A black woman with a weapon, they gonna shoot your ass on sight. Now they might not shoot you if you don't have a weapon, but, you know, it's been a lot of cases where they killed black women without weapons and took also, you feel me? So, finna get this shit back going, man. Let's get it.
I'm mad.
Loved ones of 31-year-old Jasmine Wooten Mitchell are remembering her tonight after the mother of two was killed in an officer-involved shooting 2 weeks ago.
8 News reporter Sarah Molina spoke to Wooten Mitchell's best friend. She joins us live in our studio now with the sad details on this, Sarah.
Yeah, Eric, Heather, loved ones say that Jasmine Wooten Mitchell was more than a life lost. She was a great friend, a sister, and a mother. Tonight, family and friends released purple balloons in her memory, a color they say Jasmine loved, but also one that symbolizes mental health awareness. As friends tell me, the 31-year-old struggled with her mental health for years. This story does include video from the officer's body cam, so we want to warn you that it can be difficult to watch.
As purple and gold balloons float into the sky, loved ones gather to honor 31-year-old Jasmine Wooten Mitchell, killed roughly 2 weeks ago in a Richmond officer-involved
shooting. On May
shooting.
21st, 2026, Richmond police released the 911 audio and body cam footage tied to the incident. Officials stated the release was part
Regina
of
Lewis
the
says she's been best
department's
friends with Wooten
transparency
Mitchell since
protocol.
5th grade.
The
The
officer
two were so
involved
close that
was
Lewis says
placed
she
on
was the last
administrative
person on the
leave
phone with her the
while
night.
I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna just say it's a lot going on with the, you know, the narrator talking over the news people. I'm trying to use one ear to hear what the news saying, and then try to use the other ear to hear what you saying, nigga. Nah, man, we gotta fix that. But so far, so good. You feel me? The content is good, man. There's some shit I like reacting to, but like I said, man, it depends on how the fans, my subscribers, how my supporters, you know, how they take this in, you know. Are they feeling this or not? Well, we finna get this shit back going, man. Let's get it.
Investigation
during the
continued,
tragedy
and
unfolded.
now the Richmond Commonwealth's attorney is reviewing the shooting to determine whether the officer's actions were legally justified. But for many people watching this case unfold, the legal questions aren't the only ones haunting them.
It happened at the Belt
because
Atlantic
this story
Apartments on May
sits at
7th,
the
just before 7
intersection of
p.m.
grief,
Body camera
mental
video
health,
from Richmond Police
police
shows officers
response,
arriving and encountering
tragedy
Wooten Mitchell
happening in
upstairs,
real time.
where she fired
A
shots,
young
hitting
mother
an
posted
apartment
a
door.
cry for help
Moments later,
online.
an officer
Less
fatally
than
shot her
48
multiple
hours later,
times.
she was dead.
Lewis says watching the footage was painful but important, adding that she feels crisis intervention training for law enforcement needs improvement.
We wanted people to see what we saw. We wanted them to understand why we feel the way we feel. The purpose of the police is to feel safe. We're supposed to feel protected. And in that situation, I didn't see no...
But wanting them to feel what you feel and wanting you to see what you see, you know, that's out of the question, because they wasn't brought up like you. You know, a lot of these police officers, you know, they're brought up in racist households. You know, they hide behind uniform and laws and all that bullshit, but they don't like us as our race. You know, so they don't see a woman going through a mental breakdown. They see a mad, black, angry, crazy-ass black woman. That's how they see it. But if, like I said, she was a Caucasian woman, he would have more compassion for her, because, like I said, these motherfuckers in these uniforms be racist. You know, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I guess speaking on it can bring attention and awareness to it, but I don't think you're going to change the police system that was built off, you know, the police, they used to be slave catchers. You feel what I'm saying? They used to only police the slaves. Now, we are, I guess, relatives of the slaves. You know, we would come after the slaves. You know, I'm pretty sure we all got family members who were slaves, descendants. We are the descendants of slaves. So you expecting them to feel for descendants of slaves when they're descendants of slave masters and slave catchers. You feel what I'm saying? Catch my drift, but listen, we finna get this shit back going, man. Let's get it.
protection. None from the time she was shot to her laying on the ground to even her body.
She says Wooten Mitchell faced mental health struggles for years and struggled after the father of her 7-month-old son passed away in a car accident less than 48 hours before she died. Mitchell also leaves behind an 11-year-old daughter.
I don't think it's hit them yet. And of course, they're young. You're not going to really realize the absence until you go to talk to your mama and she's not there.
Now, Lewis tells me she will continue keeping Wooten Mitchell's legacy of love alive as she pushes for more mental health resources for those struggling. Richmond police say the shooting is still under investigation, and the officer who fatally shot Wooten Mitchell is still on administrative leave.
What makes this case so unsettling is how quickly everything unraveled. One fatal crash, one grieving family, one disturbing social media post, and then gunshots in a Richmond apartment complex that ended with another life lost. But even with body cam footage, even with police statements, people are still left wondering what those final hours truly looked like inside Jasmine Wooten Mitchell's mind, and whether anyone could have stopped this tragedy before it reached a point of no return. Because sometimes the most chilling stories aren't the ones driven by evil, they're the ones driven by pain. Alright, y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's the crazy story of Larry and Jasmine down in Richmond, VA, man. RIP to both of them. Condolences to the family. My heart go out to the kids. Hey, man, get in that comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Drillers and trappers, we outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!
You know, it's a positive and a negative, pro and a con, every outcome. You know, the mother and the father, they back together, but they left a 7-month-old baby. And you know, what the man happened to the man, you know, was out of his control. And maybe with the woman being out her mind due to already having mental issues and just losing her baby, or the father of her child, you know, and with him being a good father probably to her other daughter. I'm not sure if that was his child, but you know, a motherfucker, that'll take a motherfucker through it. Like, you know, but now the kids suffer the most. The kids suffer more than anything, you know, because the parents is basically back together now in death. You know what I'm saying? But, man, let me know if y'all like this reaction. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, man. Not later, but right now. My name is Young Woo, the Seeds on the Block News.
I be on the block like when crack first hit. If I'm feeling iffy, then my gat gon' spit. I am not a rapper, I don't cap about shit. Dope boy, state of mind, I'ma trap till I'm rich. I be outside like when crack first hit. If I'm feeling iffy, then my gat gon' spit. I am not a rapper, I don't cap about shit. Dope boy, state of mind, I'ma trap till I'm rich. First nigga outside before sunrise. Old school ways, but I'm still a young guy. A real trooper, I be grinding on the front line. Hungry for the money, I'ma eat like it's lunchtime. Really out here, nigga, let's go band for band. Made a lot of transactions, I'm talking hand to hand. Based on the statistics, I never had a chance. Still I sketched a blueprint and I'm out the plan. First case crash, took me in for crack rock. 54th and Duwarty, that was the crack block. Stood solid, never folded like a laptop. Trying to get to school, getting banged on at the dash stop. Can you give me a pistol is what I asked Pops. Late nights walking through the ops on Ascot. Really repping for the team like a mascot. Doing stupid shit, I could've really got my ass shot. Second charge that I caught was a gun case. Got bail money, I ain't got a fundraise. Still remember being broke with a fun day. Overgrind cause debts can't go unpaid. So I'm serving like way to serve lunch trade. The 2 doors a Challenger, not a Mustang. Chop her down like a barber, it was one phase. Cameras everywhere, we gon' flush it if they come raid. Nigga on the block like when crack first hit. If I'm feeling iffy, then my gat gon' spit. I am not a rapper, I don't cap about shit. Dope boy, state of mind, I'ma trap till I'm rich. I be outside like when crack first hit. If I'm feeling iffy, then my gat gon' spit. I am not a rapper, I don't cap about shit. Dope boy, state of mind, I'ma trap till I'm rich.